5 minutes after 9 o'clock, it is time for Jim George, affectionately known as Professor Gadget. He's our go-to guy when it comes to questions about technology and gadgets in general. He's also the owner of American Cable Services, bringing TV to the masses. It just sounds so good over that music.
It does.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Good morning. Fine, thank you.
Where's your microphone?
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
There you
Okay.
go.
Testing one.
Takes a while sometimes. You know what we saw the other day? And you probably knew this, but Doug wanted to become a member of Sam's Club, so we went with Doug, and in Sam's Club you could buy a 3D printer.
Okay.
For your home.
It was cool.
I don't know what people will be manufacturing in their homes that they need one, but I can't imagine. I mean, maybe an artist, somebody who's using it. I mean, would you ever use a 3D printer for anything? Can you imagine yourself using it?
Yeah, you could. In our case, since we have a set-top converter box, we might want to experiment with the way the outside shell looks. You know, whether it's just a box, 4x4x1, or do I want it to have a Stingray type effect that has a little wave in it, and I may want to print up different types of shells and then send that on to the manufacturer and say, that you already have the guts.
Oh, like a prototype.
Yeah. Could you make the shell look like this?
Oh, okay.
Oh, look attractive and artsy.
But still, again, you're using it for a professional purpose.
Yes.
I'm imagining the consumer who's not in the business, like you're in a business.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you make? What we heard that McDonald's might use 3D printers to print up their Happy Meal toys.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
I guess it's
cool.
I guess it's cheaper than sending them off to some factory, which is hard to believe.
That is hard to believe.
Well, my son found a 3D printer company online, and he designed a piece of jewelry for his wife. And you got to choose the metal and everything, whether it be gold, white gold, or platinum, whatever kind. And he designed the jewelry, and they made it, and he gave it to her for a gift.
What a changing world we live in. Changing world.
So here's something I did not know about 3D printing. I did not know that it was beyond, I knew it was beyond plastic. I knew they were doing 3D biological printing, but they're now doing 3D pharmaceutical. They're printing pills. And somebody explained to me, I can't remember who it was, that it's actually a more potent pill. It's actually able to work better as far as dissolving in the right place, because if it's a lot of pills that dissolve in your stomach, it's a waste of medicine. It needs to dissolve deeper in your system.
In your intestines,
Whoa,
It's the
it fell over?
down again,
Yeah.
But anyway, so the printing of pills brings me to this other technology story from Stephen Hawking. You know who Stephen Hawking is?
I do.
Right?
I do.
The very, they consider him a brilliant guy, and of course he's very physically disabled. He's in a wheelchair. But anyway, he says there's a pill that will change humanity. It'll make our brains like 1,000,000 times stronger. I don't know if 1,000,000 is right, but a lot stronger, a lot smarter.
I thought we did that. I didn't.
He credits his intelligence to the chemicals in this pill, and he thinks if we all take them, we'll all be brilliant like that.
Now that I didn't know. That I didn't. I don't do pharmaceutical stuff.
Isn't that amazing, though?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
A pill.
So you're gonna like your brain on steroids,
It's
right?
a smart pill for the smart pill for the brain. Viagra for the brain, they're calling it.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah.
I wonder who's going to test that. I mean, they'd have to take some kind of test before they take the pill, and then after they take the pill, they have to take another test. And does it wear off? I mean, will it be there forever?
And is it intelligence or is it memory?
Oh,
It's two different things.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really smart when I do this show. But
I know.
Talk to me at 5 o'clock. I have no clue.
No,
I know.
I'm the same way. I wear down quite quickly.
Yeah.
My wife says you're like as awake as you're ever going to wake as soon as your feet hit the ground. I don't understand how you do it. I said, yeah, but at 5 o'clock, I'm out. I mean,
Yeah.
come 6 o'clock, I'm usually asleep in the chair. You know, I have a good burst of energy, and that's about the extent of it.
So do you do your best work in the morning?
In the morning. I'm a morning
Yeah,
person. I'm not a night person. I never have been a night person. Always been a morning person.
When it's inclement weather and people are having trouble with their systems and all, do you go out during that kind of weather, or do you have to wait?
I've been called out on Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day of people that missing one channel. Like, to give you, for instance, it's last year Thanksgiving morning, one of our channels went down, and wouldn't you know, it was the channel that was going to show the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Oh, gosh.
And we had one call. Well, it may be one call, but that's only because one person called at that moment. Mm-hmm. Once families started showing up and they were turning on TV, they would realize that channel's out. So, yeah, I ran and fixed the channel. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of service we give. That's the best part about having a private or a local cable company as compared to a company like Comcast or Cox, or even Direct. I mean, if DirecTV lost NBC, they have backup feeds. But if that backup feed failed for some reason, there's nobody there. It's an unmanned facility. It's all done. Hey, you want to hear the story again about the
Nice fellow, great smile.
Yeah, so there's a lot to be said for service. Service is where you make your credentials. WOCA the same way. It's not so much that you might say something somebody else doesn't say or interview somebody else, but it's the service you give to the community. I mean, where else are you going to hear about ribbon cutting?
Exactly.
There's no place.
Right.
There's no place.
Right.
Or a company moving from A location to B location.
That's right.
Or the work market looking for people looking for jobs and where to go.
That's our mission.
It just goes on, the different thing. And yet you'll find people that they want chewing gum for the brain, which is listening to music. That's all they want, Just get me through the day.
It's a good point. Yeah.
Just get me through the day,
point. Although every now and then I indulge in the chewing gum for the brain.
Yeah, they don't want to think about it. I don't want to hear about the debate. I don't want to hear about this or whatever.
Sometimes you just. Robin, I have an expression: the world spins fine on her own.
That's right.
Sometimes we just remove ourselves, unplug ourselves, and it's a good thing.
Exactly. So I went to a convention, and the convention was cloud technology. So
where'd you go?
I went to Raleigh, North Carolina. 10-hour drive up, 10-hour drive back. Traffic was bearable, and there was a little bit of road construction work. But
do you think in the future we will no longer have computers like we have them now? Like the computer will literally simply be a reception device. We'll be receiving computers that are in the cloud. I point to the sky. I know it's not actually in the sky, but. I mean, we'll like, what do you call this? A tower, or this part of the computer? The part that the monitor plugs into.
Yes, it's a mini tower or a full tower or whatever.
So we won't need that anymore?
A CPE, customer premise equipment.
So we won't need that anymore?
It will be so miniaturized that all of the workforce will be off premise. So, I'm getting ready to buy me a computer called a Surface 3, and a Surface 4 is out now.
Yes.
So basically, it's real thin. So it may be less than a half-inch thick, maybe a quarter-inch thick. I never measured it, and maybe 7 inches by 9 inches. Well, it's got computing power because it's so thin. But all the storage, you have a small hard drive. All the storage is done off premise. It's done like in the cloud. So if you want to retrieve your files or look at something, you just retrieve it, look at it, send it back to the cloud.
So what kind of things did you take away from that convention?
Actually, too much. I don't know if I'll ever be able to implement half of them, but some of the things that we learned was how cheap it is to store stuff.
To be in love with you. How cheap it is to be in love. Sorry. It was a song, isn't it?
It is.
How
sweet.
cheap it is to be.
I know how good it is. How cheap.
Sweet.
It sounded like you sang it. Didn't it sound like you sang it?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
It did.
Well, I have to be careful how I phrase that in the future. But Google, for instance, is challenging the status quo, but Amazon and another company called Quantum, you can store 1 gig of data. That's a lot of data. Let's say you have an 850 gigabyte hard drive,
right,
and you want to store all your data in the cloud. It's 1 cent a gig.
Oh my gosh!
What's that?
Wow.
$8.50 a month to store 850 gig.
Wow.
And the more you store,
Wow.
the cheaper
Wow.
the price goes down.
Wow.
So think about it. Do you really want to go out and buy a terabyte hard drive and then maybe a 2 terabyte hard drive?
Right.
You know, and then when they crash, what if you lost all your data?
Right.
What if you just, when you bought your applications, whether it's Windows or Office, what if you just stored all that in the cloud? On, it's in your private book.
Right.
And when you want it, you just open it up. There it is. You write your letters.
It does seem like a better idea.
And you're paying a small fee a month.
That is how we progress. Is we come up with a better idea than the current one, whatever it may be.
So now, depending upon your eyesight, that's how big your laptop's going to be.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So like in my case, where I don't use the email portion and very seldom use the text portion of the cell phone because I have to actually pause and think and open it.
Right.
A person with great eyesight, they do everything on their cell phone. You've seen the kids; they
do.
They download movies on their cell phone. Everything.
The other day, I had my car fixed over at Matt's garage. Matt is with Sunrise Automotive. He does a show here on Mondays, and Robin brought her laptop in because I had money in my PayPal account.
Right.
I didn't have any cash on me at all. And Matt did not have a PayPal account of his own, so he sat there at his desk. He set himself up with a PayPal account just so I could pay him.
Yes.
Robin typed her thing in her computer. She hit the button. It went into his computer and his account, and boom, my car was paid for.
Done.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And no cash exchanged hands at all.
Right.
No.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
And not only did it make it easy to pay and receive money, but it also made it easier for him to keep his records.
Right.
It's all there. He doesn't have to have a separate copy anywhere.
Exactly.
And PayPal is very secure as compared to the U.S. government files.
Jim, we need to take a little break.
Yes.
We'll be right back. If you want to call and be part of this conversation, whether it's a question or just a comment, the number is 622-9622. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine mixing with clouds today with a thunderstorm or two in the area this afternoon and evening. The high today 88 at the coast, 93 inland, and partly cloudy overnight, low 72 to 76. Times of clouds and sun tomorrow with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. The high 87 at the coast, 92 inland. On Saturday, clouds and sun with a couple of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, high 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
When we buy a vacation, we're also buying a story. So even if the happiness bump from a vacation is long over, when we retell the story of how a pickpocket took our phone in Cabo, we get a happiness boost. Because with every sunburn, we're speeding up the skin aging process. When we skip the burns and apply sunscreen every day, we slow skin aging by up to 25%. Research shows that our biggest diet mistake is usually alcohol.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 840-0750. That's 840-0750.
Located next door to Silver Spring State Park and a few minutes from historic downtown Ocala, our award-winning Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites of Silver Springs is a place to stay for a friendly, memorable, and fun experience. Enjoy our fast and free Wi-Fi, complimentary hot breakfast, and free parking. Whether you're in town for work or play, our friendly staff will make you feel right at home. That's the Holiday Inn Express and Suites of Silver Springs, proud sponsor of Friday night Marion County High School football on WOCA, The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
20 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for listening. Jim George is here. We affectionately know Jim as Professor Gadget because he's our go-to guy when we have questions about gadgets. And the interesting thing about gadgets is there's almost always a question, which means that we kind of have to learn. Like when you have new technology, there's always a learning curve involved, right?
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you would hope that you'd buy something like us guys. We get accused of not looking at the directions, the instructions, right? Ladies apparently look at instructions more than we do. So we buy a gadget, we hope it's just like self-explanatory. So
yeah.
Exactly.
But you're probably better at this than the average person because you work with it all the time.
I tend to read the instructions. I'm one of the few people. I always tell my techs to read. No, it's simple. All we have to do is do this and do that, and they do that, and it works. And then maybe an hour later or a week later, it's doing something weird, and then they open up the instruction. It says, "Do not do so," and they go, and then they have to go back and unchange what they did because they wanted to prove how smart they are. I don't care how smart they are. I want the darn thing to work. I don't want it to work right.
Well, a good example is like a musical instrument, a keyboard, where you've been playing it forever, and then somebody comes over and plays your keyboard and flips a switch and makes a sound that you never heard before. You go, wow, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Of course, you didn't read the instructions. You didn't know it could do that.
Right, you didn't know it could do that.
Exactly.
And I was just thinking the 3D printer would be interesting if you had a canister and and the top cracked, and you can't buy that top anymore. You could make another top. If you had something that you liked, Right. What if you wanted to design a flower pot of your own, Instead of being round flower pot and tapering down to the bottom, you wanted it to be reversed, maybe fat at the bottom, narrow at the top. You could do all this stuff, and then you walk in someone's house like that, and they have all these weird things, and they say, "Oh, I made those.
That's
made them
cool.
on my 3D printer."
When you were talking about the cloud before, even though we as the consumer would store everything in the cloud from our computer, is there a hard drive somewhere that's really the cloud?
Well, that's what the cloud is. It's a bunch of hard drives. Amazon has about 20 locations around the world. This other company, Quantum, has about 10. But if you walked into their facility, it's like the center of the mall.
Gosh.
It's a huge room.
Wow.
Could be close to maybe 200 to 300,000 square feet. And they took us to one to show us, and it's just full of server after servers after servers, and all kind of firewalls, all kind of security mechanisms, so that your data is not stored on one server in one place. It's stored on multiple servers and multiple places. So if they were to crash, or if their whole facility, if their roof were to crash at the mall and all those things would be tore up, it's still located someplace else. Very interesting.
Is that for Jim? Jim has a phone call on this line. Okay, Jim, you have a phone call on the back line here.
All right.
Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Hey Jim. Do you think ever that the satellite companies can set up a situation where when there's a thunderstorm in your area that you don't lose your picture? Because it's very irritating for people who are on satellite.
No, that's just the nature of the design. In other words, a small dish, and I'll describe it like this: small dish on Earth, large transmitter in the sky. And so they did that so that you would not need a big dish on Earth. Now, if you double the size of your dish, in other words, if you went from an 18-inch dish to a 36-inch dish, you would gain 3 dB. It doesn't sound like much, but 3 dB could be the threshold between pixelating and dropping and hanging on. And if you doubled again and went to a 72-inch dish, which is about the largest you could get with DirecTV or Dish TV, then you would gain another 3. So if you had an 18 and you went straight to a 72, you'd gain 6 dB, and chances are you would not drop out unless it was just really a thunderstorm. But you got to understand that at the frequency that Dish and Direct transmit at, a raindrop is the size of a coffee cup. So
Yeah.
when it sees rain, it blocks the signal. When you get a cable TV signal that on those big dishes you see on dish farms, raindrops are really the size of a pinhead because at that frequency. So the signal comes straight through the rain.
Yeah. When those satellites up there wear out, become useless, and everybody's got their dish pointed at that satellite, what do the companies do? Do they put a satellite right next to that one so you don't have to change the position of your dish, or do you have to change your dish?
No, they put another one up either next to it or usually right behind it. So if I were to bring a satellite chart in here in this space, put it on the window so people walking by could see, they could see the geosynchronous orbit where all the satellites were. But you would see at one spot there's 3 and 4 satellites lined up right behind each other, and they're each transmitting at different frequencies, so they don't block each other.
Eventually, does the satellite that's not working anymore, is it kind of programmed to fall out of space and burn up?
It is. They have to keep it in orbit. They can jettison it and bring it back down to Earth to crash in the Earth, let's say the ocean and such. They prefer not to do that. They sometimes have a shuttle that will go and retrieve the satellite, or they'll send it out in the deep space. That's why we have over 22, well, I think it's over 200,000 debris in space right now, floating around.
Oh my God. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm not so sure why the phone came through that line right there, but
Exactly.
we have a technological problem right here in the studio. Something going on
I
there.
need a gadget to fix that.
do you know what I don't really know?
That's it.
A lot of stuff, but I don't know what a server even is. When you say server,
certainly,
I don't even know what that is.
Well, basically, to me, and everybody who's IT out there is cringing now because I'm not an IT guy. It's just a computer. It's got large storage capacity. It's a computer, and then software has been loaded on it to become a server. That is, receive stuff in, take stuff out at very fast speeds, and to put it in boxes or into like bookcases where you can retrieve. So if you want something on science and you had 50 science, that's bookcase number 1. So right away, as soon as you start typing, it knows bookcase number 1. As you type a little more, it knows shelf 2. As you type a little more, it knows book number 9.
So if somebody says to me, "Who is your server?" Do I have an answer to that question?
No, you don't. Well, in your case, you wouldn't have a server. Your computer is self-contained. In other words, you don't store anything off-premise, right? Everything is in your computer.
Cox Cable isn't considered a server, or
well, Cox has their own server for their IP. Yeah, they're an ISP provider, an internet service provider.
I'm still lost. I guess this isn't even important to the average person. Like for example, when your computer breaks down, they will say to you, "What is your operating system?"
Yes.
Or OS. They use the initials.
Yes.
I think I know what that is. I'm not even sure what that is.
Well, that's if you have Windows, or in your case, if you have Mac.
Okay.
All right, that's the operating system on your computer. But the information you're sending could go to any number of servers.
A server. So the server, like Robin said, Cox Cable would be my server, or no?
Well, they'll be your ISP provider. They would not store anything for you.
Who's this? So if I have iCloud,
okay,
which I do, but it's like $10 a month or something.
Okay,
like that.
so you're storing the tunes and such in the cloud.
Right.
That would be a server that they would have. And it's a service they offer you out of their server.
I'm still confused.
Oh, so we don't have a server.
You might. I mean, there's...
Doug has one.
Yeah, I guess he does.
We're just about out of time, Jim.
All right.
It's always fascinating, and I think I'll never catch up with you. But
no, you're brilliant.
So maybe you can fix our phones. We got something up with the phones.
We'll see what we can do.
What's your phone number?
854-9795.
All right, Professor Gadget, thank you. Be careful this week.
Thank you.
Stay dry if it's raining. We'll take a little break and be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. GOP presidential frontrunner Donald Trump getting grief last night for saying he would not necessarily back the eventual nominee on the Fox News Facebook debate last night this morning. Trump telling Fox and Friends,
I don't want to use the word unfair, but I thought it was a little bit tough. Number one, I'm the only one in that category, so, it was obviously aimed at me. And I think I handled it well. And, look, if you look at Drudge, if you look at Time Magazine, if you look at the New York Times, I guess I must have handled it well because they all said I was easily the winner.
Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland covering the debate in Cleveland, reporting how viewers felt.
Just outside the queue, people squeezed in the bars and pubs to watch the debate. I talked to some Democrats who said they wanted to see what would happen.
Obviously, Mr. Trump is trying to make a name for himself, but it's all about show and tell.
And our economy added 215,000 new jobs in July, slightly below expectation, unemployment rate unchanged. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Yeah, let me guess what you want. You want a truck where safety is first and foremost. One built with a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body that's up to 700 pounds lighter. That handles better than ever. That stops quicker when it has to. And has the government's highest overall safety rating, 5 stars. On all 4 sides, for every cab configuration. Oh, you want the most towing and the most payload too, right? That about cover it? That's all you want? Everything? Okay, you want the long bed or the short bed? This is the Ford F-150, and this changes everything.
Towing when properly equipped with available 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 4x2. Payload when properly equipped with available 5.0-liter V8 4x2. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR. EPA estimated fuel economy rating of 19 city, 26 highway, 22 combined MPG, 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 4x2. Actual mileage will vary. Government 5-star safety ratings are part of the U.S. Department of Transportation's new car assessment program, safercar.gov.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services. When your roof is sagging and the dry